Good morning. I am here to discuss the importance of understanding the process of conducting interviews. Today, I will provide an overview of the guidelines that Gurukulprep offers to ensure successful interviewing. We will cover the following topics: types of interviews, a 3-step process, preparing an interview guide and conducting the interview, do's and don'ts and further assistance. Let's get started. To make a lasting impression and be successful in an interview, it is important to be well prepared. At Gurukulprep, we provide guidance on the basics of interviewing in order to help you achieve success. This includes information on types of interviews, interview schedules, questioning techniques, do's and don'ts, and interview guides. We also offer assistance on building rapport and further tips to make sure you are fully prepared. Before conducting interviews, it's important to have an interview schedule and interview guides to help the interviewer focus on the questions and narrow down the scope of the responses. During the execution phase, active listening should be the focus, as well as ensuring the conversation stays on track. Once interviews have been completed, the interviewer should review their notes and create a comprehensive report. Preparation is the key to successful interviewing. Preparation is essential for a successful interview. To make sure you are ready, construct an interview schedule which includes the interviewee, reasons for the interview, time and venue, and the interview's structure and questions. Establishing a good rapport with the interviewee is important in obtaining a full understanding of their response. If anything is not clear, be sure to ask and clarify. Through the help of Gurukulprep, you can rest assured of interview success. An interview can be a stressful experience, but one of the best ways to prepare is to pay attention to detail. Being organized and having a pre-planned schedule can make the process run more smoothly. Gurukulprep offers a structured guide to help you make the most of your interviews. Our unique approach to interview preparation can help guarantee success. As part of the preparation for an interview, it's important to create an interview schedule. First, identify the objectives of the interviews and what information you need to obtain. This will help you determine what areas of business need to be discussed and who should be interviewed. Then, create an interview schedule with enough time to review your notes between interviews. Finally, book the interviews and record them on the schedule. Doing this can help ensure that the interview process remains on track. Gurukulprep provides an effective and comprehensive guide to interviews that can help you secure a job. The guide covers all the required aspects such as appropriate body language, self-presentation techniques, and how to identify weaknesses and strengths in the candidate, enabling you to confidently approach the interview. Additionally, our guide also focuses on building up your confidence and practicing your questions to help you prepare for the interview. With Gurukulprep, you can make sure you have the necessary knowledge and confidence to ace the interview. Interviewing can be an intimidating endeavor. However, with the right preparation, it can be an incredibly valuable experience. To ensure you're getting the most out of your interview, it's important to prioritize preparation. First, you need to determine the objectives of the interview. Knowing what you want to learn is essential to conducting a successful interview. Once you have those objectives identified, you can plan the structure of the interview and start to develop the questions you want to ask. Be sure to also make additional notes that might assist you in the process, such as having an organization chart to help you understand roles and responsibilities. With these steps, you can ensure your interview is as successful and informative as possible. It's important to keep your interviews focused on the topic. Make sure you are clear on the boundaries of the discussion at the beginning and that you are ready to refocus the conversation if it strays. To ensure you get the most complete responses, consider using a quantitative approach, such as asking the interviewee to rate their answer on a scale. Finally, make sure your interview guide accounts for all the objectives of the interview and that you have someone review it. Following these tips will help you to structure an effective and successful interview. Interviews provide us with a treasure trove of information, and knowing how to properly conduct one can be extremely beneficial. It is important to approach each one with an open mind. Every person is unique and may respond differently. Our aim should be to make our subject feel comfortable and engaged. The interviewer's job is to facilitate the conversation and guide it in order to get the information needed. After the interviews are done, they must be summarized to gain insight into the overall picture. To make sure your interviewee's opinions are comparable and can be properly summarized, it is important to ask well-crafted, meaningful questions. Presentation is about providing insight into how to best prepare for job interviews. Job interviews can be a crucial factor for success, so being well prepared beforehand is essential. There are several strategies to keep in mind to be successful. Listen to answers and ask for clarification when needed. Avoid making criticisms or taking sides and maintain control of the interview. Refocus if the interviewee is rambling or clarify if they have misunderstood the question. Stay focused and adhere to the interview guide. Let the interviewee ask questions and provide an appropriate introduction and wrap up the interview. If possible, conduct the interview at the interviewee's place of work. Before starting the interview, explain its purpose and how it will take place. Try to put the interviewee at ease, and ensure they are comfortable with taking notes. Introduce yourself and explain the context clearly to create a positive and comfortable environment for the interviewee. When structuring your questions, start with general ones before getting into the specifics, focusing on external factors before more internal ones. Consider the order of sensitive topics, moving from historic information to more recent information so as to create an atmosphere of trust and respect. Interviewing is an important tool for gathering information and understanding how best to act upon it. To make sure the interviewee is comfortable, it's important to listen attentively and use nonverbal cues such as head nods to indicate you are listening. Ask open-ended questions to elicit more in-depth responses, but also use closed questions from time to time to help draw out more specific information. Make sure to pause after asking a question and allow the interviewee to answer it fully before proceeding to the next one. Lastly, be concise yet clear in your phrasing to ensure the right questions are asked. Closed questioning can be an effective technique to use during an interview as it can be used to efficiently cover a number of topics and provide consistent data. However, it can also be seen as a limitation, as it does not give interviewees the opportunity to qualify their answers, or you may miss out on other areas of discussion. For example, is the new form better or worse than the old form? Is it Mary or Jane who enter the application details? Or, do you stamp the form before or after the details are recorded? It's important to find the right balance between open and closed questions when interviewing. Probe questioning is an effective technique used in interviews to draw out more in-depth responses and information from the interviewee. It involves asking more detailed questions to get a better understanding of a subject. This technique can be beneficial as it allows us to get more information from the interviewee, particularly in relation to vague phrases or statements they have made. However, it is important to make sure that probe questioning is balanced out with open and closed questioning to avoid making the interview come off as an interrogation. Examples of probe questioning include questions such as, "How did that change impact your department?" and "What specifically do they do as a result of that?" Paraphrasing plays a critical role in interviews. It helps confirm or clarify what the interviewee has said. There are 3 levels of paraphrasing. The first confirms or clarifies expressed thoughts or feelings. The second confirms implied thoughts or feelings. And the third surfaces core thoughts or feelings. Depending on the level of paraphrasing used, it can potentially evoke a strong emotional response from the interviewee. Gurukulprep provides expert guidance on using paraphrasing to get the most out of your interview. As you continue your journey to ace interviews, writing interview notes as soon as possible after the interview can be essential. By outlining key findings and noting emerging hypotheses, you can consider how these findings fit with existing evidence, and identify any gaps to be filled in future interviews. A standard format for your notes is a great way to save time and keep your interviews organized. So make sure you include background and situation details, key findings, discussion notes and next steps in your interview notes format. When it comes to the interview process, it is of utmost importance to be prepared and mindful of any potential red flags. Such could be an interviewee pretending to know more than they do, presenting their work out of order, or covering up any of their own faults and inflating the severity of the problem. It is crucial to be aware of signs that the interviewee is either underestimating or overestimating the job, and feeding you with what they believe you wish to hear. As an interviewer, it is essential to remain vigilant in order to gather pertinent information and make the best judgment for the organization. As a job applicant, it's important to recognize the various types of interviewees and how to effectively handle them. From the inarticulate to the jargoneer, the familiarist to the obstructionist, the shy to the loud, the deceiver to the hypochondriac, and the empire builder, there is no one-size-fits-all interview. By being mindful of these personalities, you can adapt your tactics to ensure you have a successful and positive experience during your interview. Good afternoon. Taking the interview process step by step is key to success. It helps to make everyone more comfortable and better equips you to get the information that you need. It's important to remember that no 2 interviews are the same, but there are a few key points that will help you adjust to any situation. For instance, to better manage the nervous interviewee, be clear about why you are there, what they can expect, and build a rapport. For the non-talker, establish common ground and keep your questions open-ended, to draw out the information you need. When confronted with an angry or hostile interviewee, remain calm and if need be, correct misinformation tactfully, without challenging their opinions. In essence, adjust your style to match the interviewee. It is important to stay professional and composed when conducting an interview. This means avoiding any actions or behaviors that could be seen as inappropriate. They include arriving unannounced, forgetting the interviewee's name or role, showing off, criticizing, interrupting, being impatient, using coarse language, fidgeting, lounging, or appearing bored, going over time without agreement from the interviewee, and failing to thank them for their time. Respect the interviewee's time and show them that you are listening and interested in their contribution. Thank you. It is essential to create a sense of trust and understanding between the interviewer and the interviewee when conducting an important interview. Notes should be taken as the interview progresses. Remain sincere and objective while asking questions at the right level and within the scope of the interview. Facts should be separated from fiction and follow-up questions asked if needed. After the interview, The interviewee should be thanked for their time and the audience for their attention.